Hello, and welcome to OSINT, Fun with Open Source Intelligence, brought to you by Pentester Academy. My name is Jamal Benkwala, and I am your host for this fun, exciting course. So in this video, we're going to be talking about intelligence and looking at websites from a pen testing point of view. Now, you'll recall earlier I've mentioned the possibilities of using OneNote and wikis to store your information. Going back to that sort of thing, storing your results and collaborating is important. Magic Tree from Gremlin is one possibility. MediaWiki is a pretty decent wiki for this sort of thing, and Excel and spreadsheets will make your life easier. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, why do I want to share information? Well, and why do I want to use these tools? Well, if you are doing a pen testing exercise, you're not always going to be doing it solo. And many times, depending on the organization and limitations, you may well be working with a team. In that case, it is key for you to share information and collaborate with your team. You need to keep track of what you're doing and how you're finding things. Remember, pages can and do get taken down. Now, tools like Whois can tell you all kinds of interesting things. Geek Tools, Internic, and AccuWeb Hosting do have some useful sites. I suggest you take a look at these and get familiar with them and the content you can get from them, because you will be using them later on in other exercises, and they will become, and you need to get familiar with them so you understand the countermeasures against them as well. And they will be part of the exercise you use towards the end. Same sort of thing, Whois can tell us all kinds of things. DNS queries are also useful for this sort of thing. The pen testing standard listed there is something I suggest you review. What it does is it tells you at a high level the sorts of key information you may want to look for. It's not set in stone, but it is a good guideline, and you can use this when you are putting together your own plan, your own intelligence gathering plan. These are not technical guidelines, but the same group does make their own sort of technical guidelines available as well, and they give you a baseline on the tools and technology you may want to use. Additionally, automating OSINT. I know this blog post is from 2012, but it is still one of the best write-ups out there, and I highly recommend you do read this. It's a very good write-up on gathering information from different social media platforms, and it talks about different APIs and Python. You don't need to automate it using Python or even understand all the APIs, but at least understanding how these things work and a good read-through will make your life easier. It'll make it easier for you to get creative and think of your own ways on how to use this stuff as well. Now, you need to remember, automated tools can assist you in gathering data, but they will not gather everything for you. They still need someone to think and tell them what to do. They will make things significantly easier for you, however. And this is still both an art and a science. You do have to use your imagination. Now, like I said, tools can speed things up, but they will not do the work for you. You have to think about a couple of things. Is the data you gather valuable? It can be. It can also be dangerous. Can you get in trouble? Sometimes. Remember what we talked about in the context of that email address we found early on, and how we could tie that to someone's name and a person and a city and give you a much bigger profile, and all we started with was a Hotmail email address. Well, like I said, the data may be publicly available, but the connections you're making, those might not be, and they may not be disclosed either. in terms of whether you can get in trouble, I want you to think about the illegals program's prisoner swap that took place a few years ago, where a number of Russian deep cover spies were detected in the US. They were ultimately sent back to Russia, and in exchange, the Russians sent back a couple of people, or a few people, who they had determined were American spies. One of the people who they sent back was not a traditional spy. This was a guy who was working for a think tank, and he may have been in the military previously. But what he was doing was gathering information from different publicly available and open sources and detecting Russian sub-movements. And then he sold this to the American government and other sites. And the illegals program can be found there, and this got him into a lot of trouble. He actually went to prison for a little while for this. So that is all time we have for now. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video. So thank you. Bye now.